Prince Edward Island can be found in the Gulf of St Lawrence in the east of Canada. Kate and Wills came here to sample the famous Anne of Green Gables experience just after they got married, but there's more to it than that. Now, I'm sure that the royal couple were chauffeured around in the finest of luxury, but there is another option, and that is the bike. That's because Prince Edward Island is ideal for a bit of pleasure cycling, and I'm going to take on a route called the Confederation Trail. The Confederation Trail is a 160-mile journey along an old railway track that goes from one tip of the island to the other.
To cycle the Confederation Trail, you don't have to be a real big athlete or anything like that. Most of it is flat, and the bicycles just travel along very easily. To cycle the trail from tip to tip, it would take about 5 to 7 days, and then you can take a break maybe one day. We'll set you up with a hybrid bike, the water bottles, the helmets, and as far as having issues with your bike, there's many bicycle repair shops along the way.
Now, pedalling can be thirsty work, so what better place to choose for my first detour?
This is the Myriad View Distillery in Rollo Bay, PEI, and we're the makers of Canada's legal moonshine. Moonshine itself would be a raw product, traditionally made at home in a shed or in a barn. To describe the taste of moonshine would be to describe the color of the sky. Some people have likened it to a young tequila.
So now it's time for the bit that I really came here for, actually trying the stuff. Ken, we have the straight shine. Tell me a bit about it.
What you're going to find here is it's 50% alcohol by volume. It's going to be a little raw, going to leave a warm feeling in your mouth, and then a nice afterglow as it goes down and through.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. Bottoms up.
You feel that warmth?
That's very much a warm afterglow. Time to push onwards now, and remember to always make sure that you're properly prepared before you head off on the trail. My next stop is Charlottetown. Charlottetown is the capital city of Prince Edward Island, and since 1995 has been home to a world-famous shellfish festival. The festival hosts various seafood competitions, including shucking, a clean and fast way of serving an oyster. I'm here with Johnny. He's going to show me just how to shuck an oyster properly. Go for it, Johnny. Tell me what you're doing.
First, you have to break the hinge at the front of the oyster, and you roll your wrist till you hear the hinge snap. You slide the knife in, hold the shells apart with your fingers, cut the mussel off the bottom of the top shell, and then scrape the mussel from the bottom of the bottom shell.
Straight down the hatch. That is fantastic. Can I have another one, please?
Sure.
Yeah. So, full of seafood power, it's time to get back on the saddle. And there are constant reminders that this path used to be a rail track, one of the most obvious being Kensington Station, built in 1904 when the railroads were thriving. Back when the railways were being planned, communities would have been desperate to have their own station because they knew that it would bring with it a guarantee of prosperity. These days, your biggest guarantee is of seeing pedal-pushing, lycra-clad leisure seekers. Back to the present day, and you don't need a degree in agriculture to see that Prince Edward Island's countryside lends itself to farming. There are also orchards aplenty, and they don't just eat the apples here. When it gets to the end of a hard day's pedalling, there's plenty of great choices accommodation-wise. One of the more unusual is West Point Lighthouse. Built in 1875, it also still does its original job. This is the top of the lighthouse, and that whirring sound you can hear is the actual light itself. And if you look out, you can see New Brunswick, and you may even be able to see the mythical sea serpent they talk about here, or even a phantom ship. That's because the lighthouse and the area itself has more than its fair share of mystery and myth.
They see a ship on fire with the sailors jumping off into the water. The sea serpent, many people have seen that. It seems to come up out of the water. It raises its head and looks around and then disappears. Many people come and dig for buried treasure, and as far as I know, none have been found, but supposedly Captain Kidd's treasure is behind the lighthouse.
I did find a load of treasure, but sadly I couldn't fit any of it in my panniers. Never mind. And so the Confederation Trail officially comes to an end in the town of Tignish, in the northwest of the island. For me, the great thing about this ride has been the fact that it's felt like a holiday rather than any kind of endurance event. In fact, when your pulse does get racing, it's going to be because of the stunning scenery rather than any huge climbs. Still, there's one thing left for me to do. That's to get this wheel wet.
You find just a peacefulness that you can't find in a lot of places. This is a very special part of the world, and we're very lucky to live here. We want to be able to let people in on it.